What do you do when life feels like it's crumbling around you? When the weight of failure, loss, or uncertainty pins you down, and every step forward feels like wading through quicksand. Imagine this. A single mother, working 2 jobs, stares at a pile of bills she can't pay, yet somehow finds the strength to keep going. A student, rejected from every college they applied to, sits alone in their room, wondering if they're good enough. What keeps them moving? What lights a fire in their hearts when the world feels cold and dark? That's what we're diving into today. We're exploring how to find motivation in hardship, the spark that helps you rise when life tries to keep you down. Hi, I'm your name, and welcome to our journey of growth and inspiration. Today, we're exploring how to uncover motivation in the toughest moments. These are times when giving up seems easier than pushing forward. This isn't just about staying positive or ignoring pain. It's about discovering the strength within you to face challenges head-on. You can transform struggle into growth. You can find meaning even in the darkest storms. Whether you're chasing a dream, rebuilding after a setback, or just trying to make it through the day, this video is for you. Before we dive in, I want to invite you to join our community. If this resonates with you, hit that like button. It helps us reach more people who need a little encouragement. If you're new here, click subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss our weekly doses of inspiration. Together, let's build a space where we lift each other up. Here's the truth. Hardship doesn't define you. It reveals you. Motivation isn't some magical force that appears when life is easy. It's a muscle you build. It's a choice you make, especially when the odds are stacked against you. In this video, we'll uncover the science and stories behind motivation. We'll share timeless wisdom from great thinkers. We'll give you practical tools to ignite that spark in your own life. So grab a notebook, get comfortable, and let's begin this journey together. Let's start with the basics. What is motivation? And why does it matter so much when life gets tough? At its core, motivation is the inner drive that pushes you to act, even when the path is steep. It's not just about wanting something. It's about finding the why behind your actions. Psychologists break motivation into 2 modes. Intrinsic motivation is driven by internal rewards, like personal growth or passion. Extrinsic motivation is fueled by external rewards, like money or praise. Both can be powerful. When hardship hits, intrinsic motivation often becomes your anchor. Why does this matter? Hardship strips away the easy wins. When you're facing rejection, grief, or failure, external rewards might feel out of reach. That's when you lean on your deeper why, your purpose, your values, your belief in something bigger. Research backs this up. A 2019 study from Stanford University found that people with a strong sense of purpose were more resilient in the face of stress and setbacks. They didn't just survive challenges. They grew from them. But here's the catch. Motivation isn't a constant flame. It flickers. It fades. That's okay. The key is understanding that motivation isn't something you find. It's something you create. Dr. Angela Duckworth, a leading psychologist, calls this grit, the combination of passion and perseverance. Grit isn't about being fearless. It's about choosing to keep going, even when you're scared or tired. The good news: anyone can build it. Another piece of the puzzle is self-compassion. Dr. Kristen Neff's work shows that treating yourself with kindness during tough times, like you'd treat a friend, boosts motivation more than harsh self-criticism. Beating yourself up when you're down only digs a deeper hole. Self-compassion gives you the strength to climb out. So motivation in hardship comes down to 3 things. You find your why. You build grit. You show kindness to yourself. These aren't just theories. They are tools we'll unpack through stories and practical steps later. First, let's draw inspiration from those who've walked this path before us. Now that we've laid the foundation, let's draw wisdom from those who've faced the storms of life and found light in the darkness. Stories have a way of reaching deep into our hearts. They remind us we're not alone. They show us paths others have walked. Today, we'll explore 3 stories, each one a beacon of motivation born from hardship. We'll hear from an ancient philosopher, a modern hero, and a survivor of unimaginable trials. Each story carries a lesson to guide us. Let's begin. Story 1. Lao Tzu and the Broken Cart. Over 2,000 years ago, in ancient China, there lived a wise man named Lao Tzu. He was the keeper of the imperial archives, a quiet scholar who spent his days studying the ways of the world. But Lao Tzu was no stranger to hardship. His life was filled with turmoil. The kingdom he served was crumbling under corruption and war. Rulers ignored his advice. People chased power and wealth, blind to the deeper truths he saw. Lao Tzu felt like a lone voice in a storm, unheard, unseen. One day, Lao Tzu decided he'd had enough. He packed his few belongings, climbed onto a cart pulled by an old ox, and set out to leave the kingdom for good. He was tired. He was disillusioned. Why keep speaking wisdom to a world that wouldn't listen? As he traveled toward the western border, his cart creaked along a dusty path. The sun beat down. His heart felt heavy. Then, with a loud snap, the cart's wheel broke. The axle splintered, and the cart tipped into a ditch. Lao Tzu stood there, staring at his ruined journey. Everything seemed to conspire against him. A passing farmer saw the old man and offered help, but Lao Tzu waved him away. He sat by the roadside, the broken cart beside him, and closed his eyes. In that moment, he didn't curse his luck or despair. Instead, he asked himself a simple question. What can this teach me? Lao Tzu believed in the Tao, the natural flow of life. To him, every moment, even a broken cart, held meaning. He thought of water, how it flows around rocks, never fighting, always finding a way. Could he be like water? Could this setback carry him forward instead of holding him back? As he sat, Lao Tzu realized something profound. His desire to leave wasn't just about escaping hardship. It was about finding peace within it. The broken cart wasn't a failure. It was a pause, a chance to reflect. He didn't need to reach a faraway place to find meaning. Meaning was here, in the dust, in the silence, in his choice to keep going. Lao Tzu decided to continue his journey on foot, carrying only what he needed. That pause by the broken cart became a turning point. It was said that later, at the border, he wrote the Tao Te Ching, a timeless guide to living with purpose, all because he embraced the hardship instead of resisting it. Lao Tzu's story teaches us that hardship often feels like a dead end, but it can be a doorway. When life breaks your plans, it's tempting to give up. Instead, pause. Ask yourself, what can this moment teach me? Motivation in hardship comes from seeing obstacles as part of the journey, not the end of it. Like water, you can flow around the rocks. You can find a new path, lighter, wiser, stronger. Story 2. Viktor Frankl and the Power of Meaning. Now, let's travel to a darker chapter, to the heart of World War II. Viktor Frankl was a Jewish psychiatrist living in Vienna when the Nazis invaded. In 1942, he and his family were arrested. They were sent to concentration camps, places where hope seemed impossible. Frankl lost his parents, his wife, his home. He endured starvation, brutality, and the constant threat of death. Yet in the midst of this horror, Frankl found something extraordinary. He found motivation to survive. In the camps, Frankl observed how some prisoners gave up, their spirits broken by suffering. Others, though, held on. What made the difference? It wasn't strength or luck. It was meaning. Frankl believed that even in the worst moments, life holds purpose. He clung to a vision of the future. He imagined himself after the war, standing in a lecture hall, sharing what he'd learned about the human spirit. That image kept him alive. When he was forced to march in freezing snow, his feet bleeding, he didn't focus on the pain. He thought of his wife's face, her smile, her voice. Though he didn't know if she was alive, those memories gave him a reason to take another step. One night, in a crowded barracks, Frankl overheard a fellow prisoner sobbing. The man had lost his entire family. He saw no reason to live. Frankl sat beside him, listening, not preaching. He asked the man about his life before the war, about what he loved. Slowly, the man spoke of his children, their laughter, their dreams. Frankl helped him see that his love for them was still real, still worth living for. That conversation wasn't just for the other man. It reminded Frankl of his own purpose, to help others find meaning. No matter how dark the world became, after 3 years Frankl was liberated. He learned his wife had died in the camps. Yet he didn't let grief consume him. He wrote Man's Search for Meaning, a book that has inspired millions. In it, he said, everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. Frankl's story shows us that motivation isn't about escaping pain. It's about finding purpose within it. Hardship can strip away everything, your plans, your comfort, your loved ones. But it can't take your ability to choose what your life means. In your darkest moments, ask yourself, what matters to me? What future can I build? That purpose becomes your anchor, your reason to keep moving forward. Story 3. Malala Yousafzai and the voice that wouldn't be silenced. Let's bring our journey to the present, to a young woman whose courage has lit up the world. Malala Yousafzai was born in Pakistan's Swat Valley, a place of beauty and conflict. By age 11, Malala loved school. She dreamed of becoming a doctor. But in 2009, the Taliban took control of her region. They banned girls from attending school. They destroyed classrooms. They silenced voices with fear. Malala's world turned upside down. Her education, her future was at stake, yet she refused to stay quiet. Malala began writing a blog for the BBC, sharing her life under Taliban rule. She spoke out on radio, on television, in her community. Her voice grew louder, bolder. But speaking out came at a cost. The Taliban noticed. On October 9, 2012, when Malala was 15, a gunman boarded her school bus. He asked for her by name. Then he shot her in the head. The world held its breath. Malala was flown to a hospital in England, fighting for her life. Her family feared she'd never recover. Yet Malala's spirit was unbroken. In the months that followed, Malala faced a grueling recovery. She had to relearn how to speak, how to walk. She was far from home, surrounded by strangers, her future uncertain. But in that hospital bed, Malala made a choice. She wouldn't let fear win. She thought of the girls back home, denied an education, denied a voice. She thought of her father, who'd always told her she could change the world. That purpose fueled her. She didn't just want to survive. She wanted to fight for herself, for millions of others. Malala's recovery became a movement. At 16, she spoke at the United Nations, demanding education for all. She wrote a best-selling memoir, I Am Malala. She founded a fund to support girls' education. In 2014, at 17, she became the youngest person to win the Nobel Peace Prize. Today, Malala continues her work, a global symbol of resilience. When asked how she found the strength to keep going, she said, I tell myself, Malala, you have already faced death. This is your second life. Don't waste it. Malala's story reminds us that motivation can come from a cause greater than ourselves. Hardship can make you feel small, powerless. But when you fight for something bigger, a dream, a community, a belief, you tap into a strength you didn't know you had. Ask yourself, what's worth standing up for? That answer can carry you through the toughest times. These stories, from ancient wisdom to modern courage, show us that motivation isn't a gift. It's a choice. Lao Tzu found it in stillness. Frankl found it in purpose. Malala found it in defiance. Their hardships didn't break them. They shaped them. As we move to the next part, let's take their lessons and turn them into tools you can use today. We've heard powerful stories from Lao Tzu, Viktor Frankl, and Malala Yousafzai. Their lives show us that motivation can bloom even in the hardest moments. But how do you take that inspiration and make it real in your own life? How do you find the strength to keep going when bills pile up, dreams falter, or the world feels heavy? This is where the rubber meets the road. Let's dive into practical tools, habits, and mindsets you can use to ignite motivation during tough times. I'm going to share 6 strategies, each tied to the lessons we've learned, complete with steps you can start today. Grab a pen, because you'll want to jot these down. Strategy 1. Create a purpose anchor. Remember Viktor Frankl's lesson to choose your meaning. Your first tool is to create a purpose anchor, a clear reason that keeps you grounded when life shakes you. Your purpose isn't a vague idea. It's specific. It's personal. It's the answer to the question, why do I keep going? Maybe it's your family, your dream of starting a business, or simply proving to yourself you're stronger than your struggles. A purpose anchor pulls you forward when motivation fades. Here's how to build one. First, set aside 10 minutes in a quiet space. Write down what matters most to you. Don't overthink it. List people you love, goals you are chasing, or values you hold dear, like kindness, creativity, or courage. For example, a single parent might write, I want my kids to see me overcome this, so they know they can too. That's a purpose anchor. Second, narrow it down to one sentence. Make it vivid. Instead of, I want to be successful, try I want to build a life where I'm proud of my work and present for my family. Third, keep it visible. Write it on a sticky note. Put it on your mirror, your desk, your phone's lock screen. See it every day. Let's make it real. Say you're facing a tough job loss. You feel defeated. Look at your purpose anchor. If it's, I want to show my kids resilience, you might decide to update your resume today, not tomorrow. That small action aligns with your why. It sparks motivation. Studies from the University of Pennsylvania show that people who clarify their purpose are 20% more likely to persist through setbacks. Your anchor isn't just words, it's power. Start today. Take 5 minutes before bed. Write your purpose sentence. Put it somewhere you'll see it tomorrow. When hardship hits, it'll remind you why you're fighting. Strategy 2. Practice the pause. Lao Tzu taught us to embrace the pause. Our next tool is to practice intentional pauses when life feels overwhelming. Hardship often pushes you to react, to panic, to give up. Pausing lets you step back. It helps you find clarity. It's like hitting reset on your mind. Here's how to do it. When you're stressed, notice it. Maybe your chest tightens or your thoughts race. That's your cue. Step away for a moment. Find a quiet spot, even if it's just your car or a corner of your room. Close your eyes. Take 5 slow breaths. Inhale for 4 seconds. Exhale for 4. As you breathe, ask yourself, what's one thing I can learn from this? Maybe you're struggling with a failed project. The lesson could be, I need to ask for help sooner. That insight becomes a stepping stone. You can practice this daily to build the habit. Set a timer for 2 minutes every morning. Sit still. Reflect on a challenge you are facing. What's it teaching you? This isn't about ignoring pain. It's about listening to it. A 2021 study in Mindfulness Journal found that brief pauses like this reduce stress by 15% and improve focuses. Over time, pausing becomes your superpower. It turns chaos into clarity. Try it now. Think of a recent setback. Pause for 10 seconds. What's one lesson it holds? Write it down. That's your first step to flowing like water. As Lao Tzu would say. Strategy 3. Build a motivation ritual. Malala fought for something bigger. You can channel that energy with a motivation ritual, a daily habit that primes your mind for action. Rituals aren't random. They're deliberate. They signal to your brain it's time to show up. Whether it's a morning walk, a quick journal session, or a playlist that fires you up, a ritual keeps motivation alive. Here's how to create one. First, pick a trigger. Something you do every day, like brushing your teeth or making coffee. Link your ritual to it. Second, choose a simple action that lifts your mood. It could be 5 minutes of stretching, writing 3 things you are grateful for, or listening to an inspiring song. Third, make it consistent. Do it at the same time, in the same place, for 30 days. Consistency builds momentum. For example, if you're struggling with self-doubt, you might write 1 sentence each morning like, "I'm capable of handling today's challenges." That small act rewires your mindset. Let's say you're overwhelmed by schoolwork. Your ritual could be this. After breakfast, put on your favorite upbeat song. Dance for 2 minutes. Then write 1 goal for the day, like finish 1 chapter. That ritual shifts your energy. It makes starting easier. Research from Stanford shows that small, consistent habits increase motivation by 25% over 6 weeks. Your ritual is your spark. Start small. Pick 1 action. Tie it to a trigger. Try it tomorrow morning. Notice how it feels. That's you building grit, 1 step at a time. Strategy 4. Practice self-compassion. Hardship can make you your own worst critic. You blame yourself for failing, for struggling, for not being enough. Our next tool, self-compassion, flips that script. It's about treating yourself with the kindness you'd offer a friend. It's not weakness, it's strength. Dr. Kristen Neff's research shows self-compassion boosts motivation more than self-criticism, helping you bounce back faster. Here's how to practice it. First, notice negative self-talk. Catch thoughts like, "I'm such a failure." Second, pause. Take a breath. Third, reframe it. Speak to yourself like you'd speak to someone you love. Instead of, "I'm terrible at this," try, "I'm struggling and that's okay. I'm learning." Fourth, do 1 kind thing for yourself. It could be a walk, a warm drink, or 5 minutes of silence. These acts recharge you. Imagine you missed a work deadline. You're beating yourself up. Stop. Say, "I'm doing my best and I'll plan better next time." Then take a 5-minute break to clear your head. That shift keeps you moving forward. A 2020 study found that self-compassion reduces burnout by 34%. It's like oxygen for your soul. Try it today. When you catch yourself being harsh, pause. Write 1 kind sentence to yourself. Do it for a week. You'll feel the difference. Kindness fuels motivation. Strategy 5. Break it down. Big challenges can feel paralyzing. A tool to counter this is to break it down. Turn overwhelming goals into teeny, doable steps. This builds momentum. It tricks your brain into starting. When you check off small wins, you feel motivated to keep going. It's like climbing a mountain 1 step at a time. Here's the processes. First, identify your challenge like, I need to find a new job. Second, break it into micro tasks. Day 1, update one section of your resume. Day 2, search for 3 job postings. Day 3, reach out to one contact. Third, set a daily goal, just one task. Fourth, track it. Use a notebook or app to mark what you've done. Each check mark is a victory. Say you're facing debt. It feels crushing. Break it down. Today, list all your expenses. Tomorrow, call one creditor to discuss options. Each step feels manageable. A 2018 study in behavioral science found that breaking tasks into smaller pieces increases completion rates by 40%. Small steps lead to big wins. Start now. Pick one challenge. Write down 3 tiny steps you can take this week. Do the first one today. Watch how it shifts your energy. You're not just moving, you're winning. Strategy 6. Connect to something bigger. Malala's lesson was to fight for something bigger. Our final tool is to connect your struggles to a larger purpose, whether it's your community, a cause, or a legacy. This gives your hardship meaning. It reminds you you're part of something greater. It's fuel for your motivation. Here's how. First, reflect on your values. What do you care about? Family, justice, creativity. Second, find a way to contribute, even in a small way. If you value education, volunteer to tutor a child. If you value kindness, write a thank you note to someone who helped you. Third, make it regular. Commit to one act a month or weekly if you can. Fourth, share it. Tell a friend, post about it, or join a group. Connection amplifies impact. Imagine you're grieving a loss. You feel isolated. Connect to something bigger. Maybe you start a blog to share your story, helping others feel less alone. That act transforms pain into purpose. A 2022 study in social psychology found that contributing to a cause increases resilience by 35%. Your struggle becomes a gift to the world. Try it this week. Do one small act tied to your values, like donating a book or calling a friend in need. Notice how it lifts you. You're not just surviving, you're shining. These 6 strategies, purpose anchors, pauses, rituals, self-compassion, small steps, and connection, are your toolkit. They're not Mike. They're choices. They're how you turn hardship into growth. Start with one. Build from there. You've got this. We've traveled a long way together today. We started with a question. What keeps you going when life feels impossible? We explored the spark of motivation, how it's not a gift but a choice, a muscle you build. We learned from Lao Tzu, who found wisdom in a broken cart, pausing to see the lesson in struggle. We heard from Viktor Frankl, who chose meaning in the darkest of times, proving that a purpose can outshine pain. We stood with Malala Yousafzai, whose fight for education turned a near-fatal attack into a global movement. Their stories aren't just history. They're mirrors, reflecting the strength inside you. Hardship doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're alive. It's the raw material of growth. Every challenge, whether it's a lost job, a broken dream, or a quiet ache in your heart, is a chance to discover who you are. You're not defined by what happens to you. You're defined by what you do next. That's where motivation lives, in the choice to keep going, to find meaning, to fight for something bigger. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be you, showing up, one step at a time. Here's my advice as we close. First, start small. Pick one tool from today, maybe a purpose anchor, or a 2-minute pause. Try it tomorrow. Don't aim for giant leaps, aim for consistency. Second, be kind to yourself. You're human. You'll stumble. That's not failure. It's learning. Speak to yourself like you'd speak to someone you love. Third, lean on others. Share your struggles, your dreams, your wins. Connection turns sparks into flames. Fourth, keep your why close. Write it down. Look at it when you're tired. It's your compass. Finally, believe in your strength. You've made it through every hard day so far. You're tougher than you know. I want to leave you with a thought. Motivation isn't about feeling ready. It's about acting anyway. It's about pausing when you're lost, choosing meaning when you're hurting, and fighting for what matters when you're scared. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to take the next step. That step could be writing your purpose anchor tonight. It could be calling a friend tomorrow. It could be smiling at yourself in the mirror and saying, "I've got this." Whatever it is, it's yours to choose. Before we part, I want to invite you to join this journey. If this video spoke to you, hit that like button. It helps us reach others who need a little light. Subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss our next video, where we'll dive into more ways to grow, heal, and thrive. Drop a comment below. Tell us, what's one challenge you're facing, and what's one step you'll take to overcome it? I read every comment, and I'm cheering for you. Let's build a community where we lift each other up, one story, one step at a time. Thank you for being here. You're not alone. You're stronger than you think. Keep going. Keep growing. I'll see you in the next video.